Is the artist black or white? Do we know?
The artist is black. And you guys
Okay.
know I like to do my research before I speak on certain things.
Hmm.
So the subject matter of this art was Bound in the Stars. And the intent of it was to amplify traditionally marginalized people, which would be either plus size or black people, period. And he's made a variety of statues, not just this one that's in Times Square, of people of all black people of different shapes and sizes. So for us to focus on the fact that she's plus size and not focus on the fact that she's a marginalized person in
Hmm.
America and in the world, period, I think we're doing a disservice to recognizing the beauty in art. And I think a lot of times we like to look at the negative and not focus on the positive of a black woman being amplified, period. Whether she's plus size, average, what have you, we have to pay attention to the fact that we don't have too many black statues as there is. And the fact that it's a black artist that created it and put it in Times Square, and he has that ability and that platform to amplify our community in general, I don't think it's a mockery at all. I think it's dependent on how you view it. And if you choose to view it in a negative light, that's your perspective because that's what art is about. Um,
Hmm.
but I think it's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that, Casey, because that's what I thought going into this, that this is a black artist and he's creating black art from his perspective of what it is. And of course, like you stated, with art, it's all open to interpretation. That's the entire point of it. It's to start conversations, but to automatically think that it has to be something negative because you feel that she's overweight or that it's pushing an agenda or that we're assuming that the artist is basing it off society's perception of us rather than their own perception, I think is the problem. I think he built it based off of what he knows black women to be. And like she stated, there are many different other statues out there. Because let's be honest, if they wanted to base it off of what society sees of us, that could have been a ratchet girl with a booty that was way too big for her, extra long nails, hair, all different colors flying every different way, and she yelling.
Would that
If
have
we were
been
trying to
better or
make it a
worse?
stereotype,
Would that have
that
been
would have
better
made
or
it
worse?
worse, right? That
Why?
would have made it worse because I'm just basing it off of what Rashawn was saying, basing it off of how society may view black people based on what social media is constantly pushing out there. We started off this whole conversation with Lapeef talking about how he doesn't like ratchet black people, right? How do we feel about ratchet black people? Because that's what we think about, because that's what society pushes out there. Even though many of us know plenty of black people that are not ratchet,
Do you
So
think that statue is ratchet?
no, I don't think the statue is ratchet. I already said what I thought about the statue. I
Uh,
think it's a representation of everyday women, everyday people that you see. Your mama, your auntie. She looked like somebody that know how to cook some good collard greens. You get what I'm saying? Like, we know these people.
you think Lizzo betrayed the movement by losing weight?
I
I
did
think
think.
she was an example. Like I think that's what they do with a lot of positive black people. They take them and make them pop on purpose. Like at first she was on every radio station, at the R&B, you listening to her. But as soon as they like, oh, she's going to do something positive, they take them and kind of put them in a white people community so she could, influence them more than us. Like they be like, oh, you pop now. You're not R&B. No, you're not soul. You pop. We're gonna make you pop.
I think she did the same thing Monique did, because Monique did it first. She was a representation of all oversized plus women and moving for that. And then they realized at some point that even though you want people that may be overweight to feel comfortable in their body, there's also a health factor to it.
Mhm.
And if you want to live longer, you need to work out. You need to lose weight. You need to not have, complications. So they have to work out and they have to change their lifestyles. And I do think to a lot of people, it feels like they're a hypocrite. But I think with every good deed that you try to do, there's going to be some negative. And their whole motion was to say, yes, I'm big, I'm black, I'm beautiful, even in the skin I'm in now, regardless if it's healthy or not. I'm still, that one. I can still be that girl. But then they also realize I still have to live. I want to be here to spend my money. So I'm also going to push that a healthy lifestyle is okay, even for a plus size woman.
And I think spending time dwelling on other people's lifestyle and their health um, is it's just pointless because if unless you're a health guru and you do everything right and you don't smoke, you don't drink, you work out every day, you eat all the right stuff, you don't eat sugar, you don't eat carb, whatever, what have you. You never had no problems with your health. You're not never going to get cancer unless you can say that. I don't think it's productive to speak on somebody else's lifestyle or their health because they have their own choices to make just as we do. And so you don't know how their body works. You don't know what they're putting into it. You don't know what they're doing to better themselves. So I feel like it's pointless.
And there are health gurus that still end up getting the same amount of health issues that people do when they're heavier. It actually, there was a study that showed that like most people that are the most fit, they pass away younger. So it just really just depends on, and there's so many things that come with health too, like hereditary things that you get passed down from like your parents or your grandparents. But like I said, I mean, you do definitely. I'm not saying don't work out, don't eat healthy, right? But it's just because you're working out, just because you're eating healthy, doesn't mean you're guaranteed to live forever. No one is. We don't know when it's time for our clock or ticket to be punched. It's just trying to better yourself every day, and do what you can to prolong your life. Is all that matters.
I think when I
So
first
if that's
started,
the
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
No, if you're responding to her, go ahead. I don't want to get off topic yet. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was actually going to move kind of away from the topic. That's why I was telling you to go ahead.
Oh,
But if that's if if that's the case, then can we control our height
No,
and
you
which the
can't.
things? And the reason I say this because we again, my bad, my guy, for I ain't trying to change the subject of what you actually have going on. But even if we look at Emmett Till's statue was made by a white man. But that's neither here nor there. But my thing is when the things that you was actually talking about, I was just thinking about like, dang, like the things that we consider for other people, we don't consider in our life. And I think a lot of times that we try to project a lot of things that's going on with someone else and don't realize that the things that we have going on, we have some things to work on as well. So that leads me to the question of the fact of like, okay, if you say that about people in general and the things that can't change, we can't change our height. But because we can't change our height, we're being criticized about it.
Exactly. You're going to be criticized regardless. And we see it every day we go on these podcasts. It doesn't matter what you say. You can say all the right things on here and the chat will still cook you and say cap, 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 cap. So it doesn't really matter what you say or what you do with your life because people are going to judge you regardless. And I was a victim. I'm not a victim. But I experienced that multiple times on multiple platforms, on multiple podcasts. So it's just like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So my dad used to always tell me when I was younger, you came in this world alone, you're going to go out this world alone. I'm going to go out this world regardless. And at the end of the day, the only person not even a person, but the only thing I'm going to have to answer to is God. So as long as I'm not hurting the next person near me, as long as I'm trying to live right as far as treating people the way I would like to be treated and just treating people with kindness, that's all you could do,
I
So.
guess the only difference is did nobody erect a statue of a short black king saying swinging legs on a stool like
Well, maybe
I
people should
mean,
make one. I think we should have
and
more statues like that. I think that we should have one in a man's aspect as well. I
if
This
think
you
goes
that
look
back
at
to a
some of his
Kevin Hart
other
from Will.
statues, he does have some short black kings. So I think that goes to doing research and
what's his
understanding
name?
the artist and understanding the reason why he's creating that art. And I also think that in the Black
What's
community,
the
we
name?
spend a lot of
Casey,
time.
real quick. What's the name of the
Yeah,
artist on
Thomas
Instagram?
Stone. Let me tell you his IG.
And the name for
It's
the Emmett
TS.
Till was Matt Glenn.
It's TSQARTS.
TSQA.
TSQARTS.